motion drills. So I'll save shadow wrestling for the end, as I've now built into the habit of doing. But we're going to start again with some top transitions. So again, I've been starting everything from side control. So side control is this chest to chest position. So for Christian, I'm sure Nathan, you know what side control is. So side control, chest to chest, we're controlling head and arm. Talking about transitioning from top control positions. So the first one we went over was knee on belly. For this one, just flip your hands down to the mat, press up, and pop up to a knee on belly. Right, one knee on the belly. The key point here is the secondary leg. That leg is nice and straight. You're trying to make full contact with the ground with the sole of your foot, so the foot should not be lifting up at all. There. Now, we talked about the windshield wiper, so bringing both knees in, swiveling both feet out to the other side and kicking out. That's your windshield wiper. We talked about the jump switch, placing your head underneath the arm, right? Hugging the waist, jumping across, trying to get as vertical as possible. Good. And we talked about the knee on belly to mount. So knee on belly to mount, controlling the space underneath both arms. Very useful against the live opponent. Moving to mount. From mount, we talked about various transitions back to our other control positions. So one was popping back up to knee on belly, simply placing the hands on the ground and popping up. Next one was the back step to side control, so going back to the mount, simply back stepping one leg and dropping back to the side control, right? We talked about from the side control, again, direct transitions to mount. So we talked about sitting back, reverse scarf hold, looking at your partner's feet, right? Grabbing the far leg, pulling it across for our step over mount. Talked about that one. What else have we talked about? We've talked about, sneaky mount and knee on chest. So let's go over the sneaky mount first. So the sneaky mount, again, same position, switching the arm over, looking at the feet. This time you're going to kind of nurse your foot into position. So your coach is going to grab the blade of your own foot right where the pinky toe knuckle is. You're going to pull it across, drive the knee to the floor, and bring your hip over the top. Do it. We also talked about the knee on chest transition. So Coach Nathan's going to use the knee on chest. Right? From the knee on belly, simply switch your pinning leg. And the way you know you're doing it properly is you should be looking at the feet. And finally, I think the last one that we haven't covered is the breakdancer to side control. As I've always mentioned, this is probably the least practical of all of your transitions. So the breakdancer to side control starts from the mount. So from the mount, coaches are going to place their weight into their dummies. They're going to pop up, and you're going to swing one leg across the body and drop your hip. This has its applications, but anecdotally, I rarely find myself doing this, if ever. It's just not super. I don't feel like it's super reliable, but it's a good motion to have in your pocket for when you do need it.
It's good to stop halfway for that or watermark too.
Yes. So this is
Jack doesn't use it, but I use it all the time.
I don't. For reference, I'm very public about never using the mount. Yeah. And here's the main thing about me. I never use the mount. I replace the mount with north-south. But that's a conversation for another day. So, super quick review. Let's jump into a quick round here. We're just going to put all of this together. Follow along as best you can. As I've always said in this class, I kind of use Coach Nathan as my rabbit. So as fast as he moves is how fast I'll call it. If I find a lot of people are struggling, I will slow it down, but we're going to try and push. Okay, so starting from side control. Just transitioning through our positions. Okay, knee on belly. Knee on chest. Back to knee on belly. Jump switch. Jump switch again. Windshield wiper. Knee on belly to mount. Back to knee on belly. Knee on belly to mount. Breakdancer to side control. Reverse scarf, step over mount. Back to knee on belly. To knee on chest. Back to knee on belly. Jump switch. Drop back down to side control. Reverse scarf, sneaking out. And breakdance to side control. Knee on belly. Windshield wiper. Windshield wiper. Jump switch. back to side. Knee on belly. Knee on belly to mount. Back step to side. Good. Back to knee on belly. Knee on belly to mount. Back to knee on belly. Wesley. Knee on chest. Back to knee on belly. Good. Knee on belly to mount. Breakdance recital. Reverse scarf, step over mount. Breakdance recital. Knee on belly. And tie. It's 2 minutes. Okay. So, again, just a nice, easy movement drill. These are some of your primary control positions from the top. I know for the last little bit, I am a big proponent of always starting with the closed guard for beginners, so we spent quite a bit of time on the closed guard. We're just going to quickly review that as well. So we talked about the closed guard arm lock. So the reason why I'm a big fan of the closed guard arm lock as a teaching tool specifically is it emphasizes the importance of being able to generate angle, which is perhaps one of the most important concepts offensively for jiu-jitsu. So the way we talked about the arm lock. So first thing Coach Nathan's going to do, I'll just use Coach Nathan because he's closer to the middle. Coach Nathan's going to make a cross grip on his partner's arm. His other arm, his free arm, is going to grab the opposite shoulder. So his hands form an X. Okay, now he's going to use that X to pull his dummy in super tight. Good. Now, what's going to happen is he's going to take his foot on the one side where he has the arm control, and he's going to step on the hip. Now, here is the most important part of this movement. Here's where people got stuck the first time. When Coach Nathan moves his hip, he's also going to think about moving his head all the way out to the side, generating a perpendicular angle. To help himself do this, watch how his other leg kicks up and into the armpit. So you see now Coach Nathan's generated almost a perpendicular angle with his dummy. From this angle, Coach Nathan will stuff the head. So he's going to take his arm, push his dummy's face, and swing the other leg over so his legs find their way parallel. You should be able to see both your knees. Okay? Now, from here, again, you notice Coach Nathan hasn't gone too crazy, so his dummy has not knocked over. He's going to squeeze everything tight and just lift his hips gently. Okay? There we go. Coach Nick's got it as well. So back to closed guard. Step by step, cross grip, grab the shoulder, change your angle, so step on the hip, kick that leg nice and high, change your angle, clear the leg, and finish the armbar. Good. Alright, couple more times, because I know this is going to be a lot of review for some of you. So, close guard, cross grip, grab the shoulder. Change your angle. Good. Get perpendicular. There you go, Nathan. Good. That's Loic, I think. Daniel, do your best to stay on your knees, so don't knock over. Creates a lot of difficulties for your partner if you knock over to your side. Really changes the finish. There we go. Thank you very much. Wesley, I need you to change the angle more. You need to get perpendicular.
Okay. Just imagine breaking it.
That's fine.
Oh, my.
Good. Okay. We're going to practice this for a little bit. Focus on really kicking that leg up behind the armpit to change your angle. Without the angle, this technique falls apart in a hurry. So really focus on changing that angle. You should be, if you're working with a live partner, you should be looking at their ear on the one side. Okay? Good. Really change that angle. Excellent, Daniel. That's it. Partners on top. If you are a live partner, there are a couple of you. So if you're a live partner working with someone, for this particular exercise, you want to do your best to stay on your knee. Do not knock over. Does not help your partner. if you need to, just tap. I know the instinct sometimes is to knock over to try and accommodate the pressure on the arm. That is not the goal. If you need to tap, simply tap out and reset the position. Good. Christian, resist the urge to remove your leg from underneath the armpit. Kick that leg directly into the armpit to help change your ankle. So watch Coach Nathan. Right? That leg underneath the arm is going to kick into the arm and over across the shoulder. The idea is to not remove the leg from the armpit. You're using the leg to change your angle. Okay, good, Patrick. You got it. That's fine. For those of you that are a little more advanced, your challenge, if you're working with a dummy, so Patrick, Nathan, everyone else, right? Your challenge is going to be to do this without knocking your dummy over. If you're knocking your dummy over, probably using too much strength. Yeah, notice how neither Coach Nathan nor Coach Nick have knocked their dummies over yet. The dummies have stayed on their knees. This was something that was really evident when I was teaching this in person with the white belts, is that everyone knocked their dummies over.
Yeah.
So your challenge, if you're a little more advanced, and that includes you, Ryan, don't knock your dummy over. Make your adjustments, change your angle, and keep your dummy on its knees. Okay? Good. Much better. Okay. Now, I want to use Coach Nathan for this demonstration just to show you guys one thing, and that is how I'm changing the angle. Because I've seen more than one person basically try to cheat the angle change. So, once we're here, the importance of changing the angle and specifically how I'm doing it. I'm going to cross grip. I grab the shoulder. This is exactly the same, right? I step on the hip. Now, when I change the angle, it's almost impossible. If my opponent were resisting, right, I'm not going to ever be able to remove this leg. So a couple of people were removing the leg somehow and like placing it on the head and doing this, which is a legitimate arm bar. Sometimes you do find yourself with both legs above the shoulders. That's fine, but it's not a particularly realistic scenario, especially if I'm locked on here and he knows I'm trying to do something. This leg is going to be stuck in there and his elbow is going to be committed to containing it. That's fine, right? I'm okay with this. I'm stepping on the hip. This is going to be my primary drive, right? I'm already moving my shoulder offline. But watch what this leg back here does now. I'm not pulling it out. I'm directly kicking it into the armpit and across the shoulder. So maintaining control of this arm, I step on this hip. I'm going to lift my hip off the ground. As I move my shoulder this way, I kick this leg into the armpit here. Almost like I'm doing a leg extension. Right? And I'm thinking about moving my partner's torso over this far knee. Now I can clear that leg. Okay, so if my partner's torso comes this way, so drive your torso towards me, I'm never going to be able to bring this leg over the face, even if I push. So what happens is I step on the hip, I drive my partner's torso away with this leg, kicking up and over, and now this leg comes free. Okay, so... Oh, that's fine. Now, the point of me showing you that was to show you that in a realistic scenario, there will be very few situations where you can remove that leg from underneath the armpit. So we need to get used to stepping on the hip and kicking into the armpit to change that angle, right? So if I put Coach Nathan back with a dummy, Coach Nathan actually does a very good job of this, and you can really see it because his legs are long. Once he changes his angle, watch how high that leg kicks up. That's exactly what we want. Okay? And once he's in position, he can clear that other leg. So one more time. Step, kicks all the way over the top, and then clears that other leg for the closed guard arm lock. Okay? So I'm going to give you guys one more minute with that. So we're going to try that. Those of you that are newer, right? Hopefully you know who you are. Resist the urge to remove that leg from underneath the armpit. The finish is completely legitimate. It's just not a particularly realistic setup. There you go. Ryan's got a set of stuffed overalls.
Nice.
That was like the V1 dummy.
You totally placed that.
Patrick, remember not to cross your feet. Don't spend too much time on that. Make sure you're pinching your knees together, curling your heels. Good. Cross grip, grab the shoulder, step on the hip, change your angle. Good, Chris. Good. Do not withdraw that leg. That's it, Nathan. That's much better. Good. Again, partners, do your best not to knock over. Try to stay on your knees. I want partners on the bottom to be able to feel that angle. If necessary, tap out. That looks a little precarious, Nathan. And time. Okay. So, we were talking about the arm lock, right? And I used this as a carryover to talk about the arm lock from the mount, which is part of your curriculum. I don't think the closed guard arm lock is, but the arm lock from the mount, right? We actually talked about the Kimura, or the Americana, and the arm lock. So the Americana, again, placing the elbow next to the ear, threading the arm underneath, collecting your own wrist, forming that figure 4 control, looking down towards the feet, dragging the elbow in, and lifting up. Alright? So we talked about that. We combined this with our arm lock setup, where, should the Americana fail, so if Coach Nathan sets up the Americana, and the Americana were to fail, he would keep his arm in position underneath his partner's arm and walk his hand towards the top of his partner's head. Like so. Once he has secured that arm in a sort of raised position, he will slide his knee up, open his hip, and sit in the S mount. I did have coaches at this point tip over to show you that it is essentially that same angle changed position from the closed guard.
Do you want to show it?
That's fine.
Okay.
We'll skip that. But leaning towards the feet now, Coach Nathan will unweight his leg, sweep the leg over the face, and again, securing the arm lock by sitting on his butt, arms in, and falling back to extend. Okay? So one more time. Initiating with the Americana, walking the hand up to the top of the head, sliding the knee up, opening the hip, securing that arm, leaning towards the feet, sweeping the leg over the face, and securing the arm lock. Okay? So, I will just, for those of you that are kind of looking confused, I will have coaches drop down just to kind of correlate this to the closed guard arm lock. So what Coach Nathan's going to do is he's going to go to the S mount. And from here, just keep your knees pinched in and roll to your back with your dummy. Right? This is effectively that pit stop position from the closed guard arm lock. Right? The other leg hasn't cleared over the face. But you see, this leg is roughly in that same position where the foot is on the hip, and the other leg is behind the armpit and kicking up fairly high. Okay, so if Coach Nathan rules it back to mount, that is effectively what our S mount is. Okay, the angle of your foot changes a little bit because the floor is underneath you and you can't get that leg all the way behind your partner's back, but it is, for all intents and purposes, the same position. Okay, as that midway point where we start to change our angle. So, we're going to jump back into this one really quickly. Starting with the Americana. So 2 hands on one, pinning the arm, reaching underneath for the wrist, walking the hand up to the head, and then now sliding your knee up, opening the hip, and securing the arm. Now, lean towards the feet, sweep that leg over the face, sitting on your butt, securing the arm to your chest, and falling back for the arm lock. Okay? Very good. That's it, Patrick. That's it, Ryan. One more time from the beginning. Elbow next to the ear. Secure the figure 4. Walk that hand up to the top of the head. Good. Now, slide that knee nice and high above the shoulder. Open up your hip. Lean towards the feet. Securing the arm. Sweeping the other leg across the face. Legs parallel, just like our previous armbar. And leaning back gradually to finish. Should be pulling on the arm closest to you as opposed to the arm furthest from you. It's in a time like this where I loathe the fact that the armbar in English is called the armbar because it makes more sense in basically every other language. Or
Classic.
I should say in Japanese and Chinese, where, yeah, well, it's called Juji Katami, right? Ju is the number 10, and the 10 literally just looks like a cross. Same thing in Chinese, right? The number for 10 just looks like a cross. So if you know what the number looks like, you're forming that cross with your body fairly naturally.
What's leg then? What's leg? What like arm?
Well, the letter for 10 is this. So you're forming your legs going this way, your partner's legs going that way.
But if an arm lock is usually katana, what's the third leg?
Depends on which leg one.
Let's say straight ankle.
Is it Ashi?
Wash. I think it's Ashi.
Ashi. No, Ashigarami is leg 10. We'll sort out the semantics later.
Yeah.
But
I just like the Portuguese word.
in Portuguese for footlock is botinha, which literally means
Yeah.
little boot, little shoe. The Portuguese also call leg lockers sapateiro, which means shoemaker, which I've always found kind of interesting.
German call it
Good. Couple more minutes with this one. Daniel, as I've said before, right, slow it down a little bit. Step by step. Slow is smooth. Smooth is fast. Right. Rushing through stuff, especially at this stage, is mostly unnecessary. Also increases the risk of injury for your training partner. And I would hope that you care very much about your brother's well-being.
Can only imagine.
It's 2021. It's no prisoners.
I mean, I grew up with a twin brother, and we fought a lot. But at the end of the day, I still cared about his well-being. You just let him have it.
There's no brothers in this dojo.
Should be that guy that stands in the corner of the room. None of you guys know the ground is my ocean.
Kumite. That meme format is dead. Like
I
that,
love it.
that meme format died after the first week. They don't know that Bitcoin is almost at 30,000.
I don't know if that's one where it's like, nobody here knows I'm vegan, and everyone's like, yes we do, you won't show up with me.
No disrespect to vegan.
Good. All right, and time. Now, a couple of you are working with live partners, so I'm gonna switch Coach Nathan with Johnny. So I'm going to show you what this looks like on a live partner, just for reference. It does look a little different, but there are a couple of important things that I'll draw your attention to. So, first of all is when I start to secure the arm. So, when I'm looking to secure the arm in this particular setup, I'll do it on this side. As I pin this arm, I'm looking to secure this arm right to the side of Coach Nathan's ear. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to walk this arm straight up. I'm going to bring my hand, the hand that goes underneath his arm, in an arc. So I bring it in an arc and I pin the arm to the side of Coach Nathan's head. If I wanted to be mean about this, I would grab the side of his head and pull it, and that way that would secure both. I would break his alignment and secure the arm to the side of his head. What I'm going to do now, again, is I'm going to plant this hand on the ground to help give myself some mobility. I slide the knee on the same side up above his shoulder. So it's important to see that this is the line of Coach Nathan's shoulder. My knee is well above his shoulder. If I can manage, I actually want it above his head. But this is about as far as I got on the initial entry. Okay, once I secure this, I can clear my partner's arm out of the way and open my hip. If we just change the angle slightly, thank you. So as I change the angle, you'll see my foot also pinches above the line of Coach Nathan's shoulder. It might be a little tough to see here, but my heel is in line with Coach Nathan's ear. So if it's low down here, this is going to make the arm bar very, very loose. So when I pinch and I get up high, it's important that my heel and my knee are kind of in one line, both above Coach Nathan's shoulders. Now I secure the arm, right? And I can pinch everything nice and tight. And I can even do this without my secondary hand. I can just keep everything tight in here. Simply bring the leg over by leaning my weight towards the feet. And again, sitting down on my butt, nice and stable. And now I pull the slack out gradually and lift my hips for the finish. So, again, this should be done very slowly and very deliberately. If I go swinging my legs around, right, there is a good chance. So if I'm using this setup, sorry. So if I'm here and I swing this leg, but I miss, right? Coach Nathan can very easily start tumbling underneath my leg and dump me over, right? So it's more important that we slow down and focus on every individual step, right? So am I making sure that my knee, first of all, is above Coach Nathan's shoulder? Am I making sure that the foot finds a spot above the shoulder? Am I making sure that I'm keeping weight on my opponent instead of taking the weight off to swing the leg over the face? Right? So very slow, very deliberate. Now, we have a couple more minutes, and as promised, we're going to wrap up with some shadow wrestling. So, shadow wrestling, 3 basic motions. Your down block, walking down. Your shot, level changing, bringing your chest to your knee, pushing into your shot. And our last motion that we covered in this class was the sprawl. Putting my hands down, throwing my hips back, popping right back up to my stance. And just because I want to give our coaches a break, I'll do this myself.
So if you guys were just tuning in for the advance, you can use this as your warm-up.
2 minutes. I'm going to be talking and doing this at the same time. So.
Jack, go. I got it. 10
All right,
minutes.
here we go. So
I just did the attendance.
Oh, did you?
Again.
Okay, thank you.
shot.
Not for the new people though.
Step up. Right. Everything takes us back to our stance. Shot.
Meaning I only did.
Back to stance. Sprawl.
I did the first block.
Sprawl. Back to stance. Down block. Down block. Protecting that lead leg. Shot. Shot. Down block. Down block. Shot. Shot. Now I know where the hole in my pants came from. Down block. Down block. Sprawl. 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 Back to stance. Shot. 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 And down block. Down block. Sprawl. Shot. 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 Down block. Down block. Down block. Sprawl. Sprawl. nice and low in your stance. Shot. 40 seconds. Down block. Down block. Sprawl. Shot. 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 Down block. Down block. Shot. Sprawl. Sprawl. Shot. Shot. 20 seconds. Down block. Down block. Sprawl. 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 Down block. Down block. Down block. Shot. 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 Sprawl. Sprawl. Shot. And time. Good.